Welcome to Unjustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and hit the notification bell, and that way you will receive all of our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope you enjoy today's video. Good evening, Team Unjustified. Hope you are all having a very great night. We have Dave with us, and Nelly is aware, and maybe she'll be able to join us shortly. So who do we have here, Dave? We have Fifi, Zephyr Hills, Leather and Lace. Leather's like, I hope I can stay awake. If not, honey, catch the replay, because this show is the only reason me and Dave is doing this topic tonight is because so many people really wants to know about Dirty South Customs and what the connection there was, and the quote-unquote embezzlement and money laundering and all these kinds of things. So as me and Dave were talking before we even started this, what we do here is we bring you the good, the bad, the ugly. Like that's from day one on this channel. So we can't always promise you that what we're going to bring you is just going to be some bombshell. Oh my God, I knew it. But then maybe it may be. So that this show tonight, I don't know how you guys are going to take it. We do have the documents. We have the legal documents, and we're going to be showing them to you. We're going to go over them. But actually, from that point, you're going to have to form your own decision and theory from it. We are going to be able to set to rest a few things about this. One being, many people believe that this case was threw out, dismissed, nothing ever became of it. Well, that's not so. That's just not so, and you're going to see that. There's other things here, Dave. I mean, there's other things in here that's going to be very interesting, I believe, to many of you. However, I don't know if the connection that everybody's hoping to see is literally going to be here. But then again, you may be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and it may be exactly what you're looking for your theory.
One of the biggest problems is they had the internet scrubbed. So to get the documents that Kimberly has tonight is through the courts. So
Yes.
that's another way they can't get rid of them that way. So, but no, the internet's been scrubbed. Like, what was that? 3 years ago, I had Hisham there. He had 49 charges against him, and he had like 26 properties. And now you can't find his name anywhere on anything pretty much. So
Well, no, I mean, Dirty South was actually dissolved in 2006, right? And then he came back and he renamed it. Instead of it being Dirty South Customs Incorporated, it was Dirty South, what was it? Dirty South Sounds and Wheels or something like that.
yeah,
And then it was changed to a different name as well, and I can't remember, but you guys are going to see it. We have it. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, and he also owned that cell phone company. What was it? Fastlink that Shanann worked for.
yeah.
And so she's worked for him not only through Dirty South, but also through that cell phone company. I think it was called Fastlink, but you're going to see that as well.
Yeah, with her, she started off as his nanny, of all things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then what? She went into the parts department, I think it was. Then she went into sales, and then all of a sudden, she's a co-owner.
Well, she is named the co-owner in these documents. So
yeah. That's where Frankie comes out and said, "Oh yeah, she made $500,000 a year." So
yeah. So, but then later in these documents, it also says that, hey, Nelly, glad you could join us, sweetheart. I get it. Nelly said her power went off earlier. So,
Yep.
I've been
I
having that
see
issue.
Dot came in.
Hey, Dorothy, thank you. It's great to see you, hon. And Gregory, and y'all make sure, Dorothy, make sure you drop your link, honey, so they can join your channel as well. Mama Stone, Sissy, Wendy. So are you feeling better, Nelly?
Yes, I'm feeling so much better.
Good. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. You don't need a relapse, though. We're not going to be here that long tonight, girl.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're just going to go over these documents and hopefully help some people on this big question mark surrounding Dirty South.
Mm.
We
Yeah, I
will
was
be.
reading this stuff, and then the electricity went out. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Uh,
We will be going through some really, really cool stuff next week, including the CPS. So if
yes.
anybody's interested in that, it's there.
Yeah, the CPS one is going to take all week to put together and to be able to bring you guys the correct documents and all that kind of thing. Because as you know, we don't talk about it unless we can show it. We just don't do that. I mean, we're not here to make an opinion for you. We're not here to try to paint a narrative for you. Like so many of our team has completely different opinions, and that's okay. We just want to bring you the truth of the case and the facts and the evidence of the case, and you form your own opinion from it, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. It's your opinion, and you're entitled to that. You got your own mind, and you can make up your own opinion. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
No, sorry. As we're digging, if like later on, if we find some more Dirty South, we'll be bringing it out right then and there. So as soon as
We
we find it,
will.
you will get it. Oh, there's Ash and
We will.
Becky Boo.
Hey,
Hey,
Ash.
Ash.
Yes, Dot, this has always been a very one of those topics that everybody wanted to know more about. And like you say, there's not a lot of information out there about it, but we did get the legal documents on this quote unquote embezzlement thing. I'll say right up front, the word embezzlement is not, absolutely is not said or quoted anywhere in this lawsuit. It's not there. Money laundering is not said or quoted anywhere in this lawsuit. However, there is charges, and people will just say, okay, well, that's embezzlement or that's money laundering. That's not for us to say. We're going to show you the documents and you form your own opinion from it. Okay, first off, we have decided just to run through some photos before we get to the documents because Dave got us these photos together today, and so I put them all in the folder, and that's what we're gonna look at first. This is Dirty South, and is this around the time Shanann worked there, Dave?
It is, yeah.
Is
See,
it?
with them too, they have 3 locations too. So, but that's when she was actually working there.
Yes. Okay. And then this is her. Most of these photos has the date on them, but judging from this one, she's probably pretty young. She
Yeah,
looks young, doesn't she?
that's
Now,
an interesting one.
it is, and I wished it had a date on it, but it doesn't. Dave, do you happen to know what year this was, or?
All of it says is the August on there, so it doesn't say what year.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah, I
have the
found that 2 years ago. So
yeah, we don't have the year, but it's a pretty interesting one. This is his name. Dave, you'll have to say
Hisham,
his Hisham Abu
yeah,
Tabar, or is it? I tried.
yeah. Hisham's good.
It says more work to do for Cody Bender and Frank Rusek. We cut the poker when he gets back. 26-inch Cadillac Coupe de Ville on Cadillac. 40,000 original miles. Beautiful car. It is a beautiful car, but that's an old car to only have
Mhm.
40K miles. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
most of
like,
them big bingo cars, they were all bought up by Americans here in Canada, and they shipped them back over. So, but I don't know what's going to happen when all this green crap comes out. Like all these guys with collector cars, they won't be able to drive them because they got to go green, and there's not going to be like you won't be able to use gas, and it'll only be battery operated. So,
look at Becky Boo's comment, Dave. How many times have I have I said that? When we're just randomly talking.
yes.
How many
Shop.
times? Yes, how many times have I thought that to be a possibility? Okay, and then here we have Shanann and Hisham, I
The
guess.
Mafia,
Yeah, right?
and that
Hisham,
is 2007, that one for sure.
2007, yes. And that's probably around the time that other one was taken. So Shanann worked there for quite some time, several years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she worked there for a while.
Yeah.
There's that black Escalade.
And this radio station are in big, like with that. Did you notice that, like when that with also that photo that we just looked at with Frank? See behind him this Foxy radio station. So they're in big with that radio station, it seems like. And this is going to be, it doesn't have the date, but I believe it's around the same time. 0607. You talking about some nice cars. Do they not look like the
The
damn
Mafia.
mafia? Do they
They
not?
do.
They really do. And if you've not, I don't know if you've ever went to their Facebook page or whatever, but in their photos, he does have photos of like Scarface and The Godfather, kind of referring that as him, and it's very weird.
Well, okay, so you can see what more or less what the inside of this place looks like. You see how these guys dress, and then if
Yes.
you turn the clock back to Shanann's house there in North Carolina, what the heck was it? She had forgotten her cell phone. She went back, and somebody actually was in the house. They broke into the house,
Yeah,
and
but there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying there's a lot of people that think she could have just been saying that for
right.
insurance
But
or
she
something.
also said the
I
day
don't know.
before Hisham was threatened at Dirty South by somebody.
True.
So if you look at it this way and then that way, well, what the heck? Why would somebody be threatening them? Especially if you're walking around looking like that.
Right. Exactly. Hey, Aussie True Crime. Okay, this is the business corporation for Dirty South Incorporated. As you will see, the status dissolved, right? Closed down, no longer. And this was actually Halloween of 2006. The annual report due date, April the 15th. I know that's when we have to have our taxes in. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it definitely, that's when we have to, that's a deadline for tax season. But yeah, 2006, the business was dissolved. Dirty South also has a Discord. We found this, I don't know. I don't remember if it was last night or what it was, but this is the Discord they have now. The banner for their Discord we found kind of weird. Um, what do you think about that, Nelly? Yeah. So, okay, this one might be best to look at. This is October 2007. Many of you have probably already saw this picture. This is from Google Earth. October 2007. Shanann is here. This is her parents' home. And she's walking into her parents' home. Looks like she might have been getting out of that yellow truck there, but we know this is Frankie's truck, right, Dave? This is Frankie's.
Yeah, that's Frankie's, yeah.
So I don't know if she was getting out of it or possibly she's got her vehicle back here at the side of the home, but that's her going into her parents' home. And then July of 07, this is the truck pulling into Dirty South because we had pulled up the address and it's Dirty South, the same truck. So I guess what this is trying to show is either Shanann was driving Frankie's truck or Frankie worked at Dirty South this time as well. We don't really know, but we do know that her dad was employed there, and we'll show you that.
Well, when the girls went missing, Frankie was on Dirty South's computer because he went and put out that bolo be on the lookout for them, so, and he signed it, Frankie, so.
Right. And here, basically down here is what this shows that this is a recent search, right, Dave? This was the recent one, right? Okay, and this shows that his LLC businesses are Fast Link Wireless, and Shanann did work there as well, and Forever Customs. So I guess, is that Dirty South? Did he rename it, or is that just another business?
It still shows Dirty South today, so all 3 locations. Unless he has like a subsidiary, like of the company itself.
Yeah.
You can do that too. So, but there's reasons why they do that besides, revenue for income tax. So
yeah, exactly.
A lot of them do it because of Better Business Bureau or something, stuff like that. So
tax write-off too.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, let me get back to the front. And then here's some more of those. Boy, they like those jacked up cars.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be in, I believe this is 07 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a bunch of them at car shows too, but this here more or less just shows you, wanted to show what the inside of the building looked like.
They are still open, Aussie. They are still in business, and I believe it still says Dirty South on their sign.
All 3 locations.
Yeah. But at the same time, there is the records that show that he closed it down as well. So, okay, that's the photos we had saved. So I guess we can get straight into the documents. Is that what y'all want to do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, can everybody see those okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can.
Okay. So I'm going to be over here on this other screen, so I can't watch chat, y'all. Okay, so this is the lawsuit, and I just have them labeled 1, 2, and 3 because there was different ones, and so I just went ahead and I took them all to bring here. So this is the defendant is American General Financial Services Incorporated. By and through its undersigned counsel hereby notices Removal of this suit from the Cumberland County, North Carolina General Court of Justice. I'm not going to read all this because we know, okay, you're welcome to screenshot it. The complaint in the case was filed in the Cumberland County General Court of the District Court Division on December the 29th, 2008. And it was served with the complaint on December the 31st, 2008. Now, we actually have a photo, don't we, Dave? I think we've already showed it. That would have been New Year's Eve. And it was that New Year's Eve photo of Shanann and Frank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think was that a 2008? I think it was. Okay, the plaintiff, Matthew Key, seeks damages for alleged violations of the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, and the Federal Truth in Lending Act, the TILA, the North Carolina Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act, the North Carolina Debt Collection Act, the North Carolina Motor Vehicle Repair Act, and the North Carolina Retail Installment Sales Act. The plaintiff also brings claims for breach of contract, fraud, conversion, negligence, and civil conspiracy. The Eastern District of North Carolina, Western Division, and the United States District Court and division thereof embracing the place where plaintiff's state court action is pending. Therefore, plaintiff's state court action may be reviewed in the court pursuant to 28 U.S.C. Okay, now, as I say, I'm not going to read all that, but we will get down here to the complaint. And here you see the defendants, Dirty South Custom, Sound and Wheels, Dirty South Custom Incorporation, Hisham Badwan, Robin Worthy, and Shanann King. Consent to removal as indicated by the consent of removal, which is attached as Exhibit C. And of course, this is signed off on the 30th day of January, 2009. This is an action for damages brought by an individual consumer for defendant's violation of North Carolina's Retail Installment Sales Act, North Carolina's Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Prohibited acts by debt collectors, the Truth in Lending Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Motor Vehicle Repair Act, civil conspiracy, failing to disclose a principal, breach of contract, as well as tort claims of negligence, fraud, conversion, and an action to pierce the corporate veil. These laws protect consumers by prohibiting businesses from engaging in abusive, deceptive, and unfair practices. The plaintiff, Matthew Key, by and through his undersigned attorney, sues the defendants and alleges and says as follows. So this is just going to be all of the upon information and belief, defendant Dirty South Customs Incorporated, hereinafter defendant DSCI, is a domestic corporation operating from the principal office address there and is a business operating in commerce, as the term is defined under North Carolina general statutes. Trying to get to the point. Upon information and belief, American General Financial Services, hereinafter, AGFS, is a business operating in commerce. Okay, number 7. Upon information and belief, DSCI is the undisclosed principal for Dirty South Customs Sounds and Wheels. Upon information and belief, defendant Robin Worthy, herein after defendant Worthy, is the co-owner of Dirty South Wheels, Dirty South Customs, and or an employee of the same. Okay, now see, Robin says that she may be an employee. Upon information and belief, defendant Shanann King, hereinafter defendant King, is a co-owner of Dirty South Customs and Wheels. Upon information and belief, Hisham is president and co-owner. So the underlying consumer obligation between plaintiff and defendant is a consumer credit sale, and that term is defined under North Carolina general statutes as plaintiff paid at least $1,300 in cash and financed the balance as arranged by Dirty South and financed by American General Financial Services. The services were motor vehicle repairs, as the term is defined. Plaintiff contacted with defendant, Dirty South, for window tinting, the installation of a navigational system, an amplifier, DVD and CD radio, and subwoofers. Upon information and belief, defendant King initially informed the plaintiff that he was denied credit. However, she later contacted the plaintiff and informed him that he was approved for credit. Upon information and belief, defendants did not provide plaintiff with a copy of the credit application or a written notification of adverse credit. King did not give plaintiff a receipt, and when plaintiff returned and requested a receipt, King said that she took all work orders home for the month and she could not give him a receipt at this time. Plaintiff received a copy of the purported receipt from American General Financial Services, whose office was next door to Dirty South. Plaintiff admits to providing a signature, but does not recognize the signature on the purported paperwork order or receipt.
So that's where the forgery comes in.
Yes, somebody forged his name to the receipt of taking credit out with this finance company, and he didn't do it, or he says it was not his signature. The numbers on the work order dated December the 5th, 2007 do not equal the total, as the total is reported on the document. Moreover, the numbers are different from the numbers on the invoice that Dirty South sent to the finance company. A copy of the work order is attached. Upon information and belief, defendants did not inform plaintiff that the transaction required him to give the finance company a security interest in the plaintiff's household goods or inform him of the amount of interest he was required to pay. It was not until the finance company reported the security interest on the plaintiff's credit report that he even became aware of the security interest. On or about December the 5th, 2007, defendant Worthy delivered a false statement on invoice number 702 that contained a letterhead for Dirty South and a work order with defendant Dirty South's name and address. A copy of the invoice is attached. It was not until the plaintiff received his first statement from the finance company that he knew the interest rate. A copy of the statement is attached. The finance company reported the false amount on the plaintiff's credit report when it knew, or should have known, the charge was false since it had a copy of both documents. Plaintiff paid cash for part of the total cost. The charge should have counted as a prepaid finance charge in accordance with the Truth in Lending Act. Defendant's actions resulted in a false statement on the plaintiff's credit report. Anytime plaintiff requested documents from the defendant, Dirty South, the defendant refused to provide the documents. The plaintiff thereafter repeatedly requested the documents from the finance company whose agent went to the defendant, Dirty South's place of business to retrieve the documents on plaintiff's behalf. The finance company told the plaintiff that he did not have to pay on the account for 1 month because the finance company would resolve the problem. However, the finance company subsequently charged the plaintiff late fees for that month. The finance company failed to report the account as disputed on the plaintiff's credit report. The plaintiff felt forced to acquire an additional personal loan in order to pay off the balance on his account with the finance company. Once the plaintiff paid off the balance, the finance company failed to appropriately change the account status on the plaintiff's credit report and release its security interest. The services were to be completed on or before December the 6th, 2007. Upon information and belief, the defendants, Dirty South, did not release the plaintiff's vehicle until the close of business on the evening of December the 6th, 2007, at which time lighting was insufficient to permit the plaintiff to inspect the condition of their vehicle. Upon the plaintiff's first reasonable opportunity to inspect his vehicle the morning of December the 7th, he discovered, among other things, a burn mark on the front passenger seat, a burn mark on the rear seat that did not exist at the time the plaintiff delivered the vehicle into the defendant's possession for the purpose of performing the relevant services. There was 3 additional marks that did not exist at the time the plaintiff delivered the vehicle, and that the windows were not tinted as ordered. And during the morning of December the 7th, 2007, the plaintiff contacted the defendants, excluding the finance company, to inform the defendants of the problem that he had with this vehicle and the services performed and the damage to his vehicle. Plaintiff left several messages, whereupon defendant failed to return his calls. Plaintiff subsequently discovered that the navigation system did not work with the DVD, and the navigation system failed to navigate accordingly. And by way of mitigation, on January the 9th, 2008, the plaintiff requested a refund on account of defendants failing to tint the windows, the navigation system being inoperable at the time the DVD was in operation, the vehicle's repair in lieu of refund, and a price adjustment on account of damage to the vehicle while in the defendant's possession. Dirty South looked at the purported work order and told the plaintiff that he did not pay for window tint, and consequently, Dirty South refused to tint the plaintiff's windows. The plaintiff paid to have the windows tinted, and he paid $1,300 in cash for the services. The defendant permitted the plaintiff to believe that the window tint cost $1,151.26. But on or about February the 27th, 2008, the plaintiff's wife, Tina Key, went to Dirty South to deliver a letter and received Defendant King's signature. After being told that Defendant King was not there, Miss Key informed an employee that Miss Key would wait for the Defendant King's return. Among other things, the employee said to her, "Lady, I don't effing care." Upon information and belief, when the plaintiff later reported the incident to Defendant Worthy told the plaintiff that the employee was Defendant King's father.
Good old Frank.
Yes. So, and it does distinctly point out that Frank was an employee there, and he was the one that spoke with the plaintiff when she went in there to get Shanann's signature, and that's what Frank told her. And yes, it was Frank. On or about April the 9th, 2007, defendant Bedouin assured the plaintiff that he would take care of all of these issues. Defendant Bedouin gave the plaintiff a number at which the plaintiff could reach the defendant. However, the telephone number was incorrect. On or about May the 27th, 2008, the plaintiff returned to Dirty South to have an amplifier that ceased operating replaced, at which time he learned that the amplifier he paid for on December the 5th, 2007 was not even the amplifier that was installed. The plaintiff discovered that Dirty South did not return his speakers and repeatedly asked for their return. Dirty South did not return the speakers. The plaintiff's vehicle seriously interfered with his possession of his vehicle as it lowered the value of the vehicle and the value of the vehicle to the plaintiff. On or about July the 29th, 2008, the plaintiff took this vehicle to Crown Ford in Fayette, North Carolina, and paid additional costs to have it repaired. And then on or about August the 15th, 2008, the plaintiff phoned defendant Bedouin at his Charlotte location and was placed on hold by defendant King. Defendant Bedouin did not answer. The acts and omissions of the individual defendants named herein employed as agents by defendants Dirty South Customs was transacted with plaintiff as further described herein, were committed within the time and space limits of their agency relationships with the principal defendants Dirty South Customs. And it says the defendants named herein were incidental to or of the same general nature the responsibilities these agents were authorized to perform by defendants Dirty South in extending services to the consumer. By committing these acts and omissions against the plaintiff, the individual dependents named here were motivated to benefit their principals. Defendants Dirty South are therefore liable to the plaintiff through the doctrine of respondent superior for the intentional and negligent acts, errors, and omissions done in violation of federal and state consumer protection laws. Plaintiff is entitled to and hereby respectfully demands a trial by jury on all issues. Plaintiff incorporates by references and allegations contained in the preceding paragraphs as though fully set forth therein. Plaintiff prays that the court ignore the corporate form belonging to the defendant wherein the defendant Bedouin is president and hold defendant Bedouin and or the shareholders of Dirty South personally liable for the damages that the plaintiff suffered. And so, yeah, I mean, it just basically there's what was it, 12 or 15 charges. Of course, I'm not going to read all this. Feel free to screenshot it, but it's basically more of the same.
I will be putting it inside the Facebook group too. So
yes, we will put it there. And, it's basically more of the same. But let me just show you, that was just count one we just looked at. Okay, now we have a count two here, okay? And this is the unfair and deceptive trade practices. And so count three. So there was many different charges with this lawsuit. Count three was the violations of prohibited acts by debt collectors statute. And count four, a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Count five, a violation of the Motor Vehicle Repair Act. And of course, all this explains why these are legit charges that they can be and were charged with. Count 6, violation of the Truth in Lending Act. Count 7, breach of contract. Count 8, fraud. And that's a pretty big one there.
Mm-hmm.
Count 9, conversion. 10, Retail Installment Sales Act. Count 11, negligence. Count 12, civil conspiracy. So there's 12 accounts that they were charged with. And the reason I read those first ones out to you, that pretty much explains everything that the guy was suing him for with these 12 counts attached. And of course, here is all the defendants. And Shanann is listed as a co-owner of the business. This is the receipt that the guy had. Of course, his name, I'm not going to stop so long on his phone number. This is what he got. And it all came to $4,651. And he paid looks like he paid $11,551 for the window tint, I think, that they didn't do. And then here again, this is the digital receipt. I guess this could be from the finance company. No, this is going to be from them. This is Dirty South too. And Robin typed this up for him, the labor and everything he got as well. Again, $4,651.26. This is the finance company. And this is his balance. Now remember, he did pay $1,300 up front that he did not get credit for. And so let's just jump straight to the judgment. Okay, this is their reply about it, and pretty much everyone at Dirty South is denying everything, right? They're denying all these charges. Does not have enough information, admit or deny, and they admit. Defendants do not have enough information to admit or deny. They denied. Pretty much everything is denied. As you see there. Defendants deny all allegations contained herein, and this was in February of 2009. So that's how long it continued to go on and be put off and continued and all that kind of thing. And Dave, make sure you when you get a chance to put these in the Facebook group so people can read over them if they would like. Okay, let's just get straight to the judgment here. So you hear it said all the time that this case was dismissed, it was threw out, nothing to it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this ordered and adjourned. Okay, judgment is hereby entered in favor of the plaintiff, Matthew Key, and against the defendants, as alleged in the complaint filed in this action. Defendants shall comply with the provisions of the consent judgment. Now, this is what the defendants, Dirty South, had to do. The defendant shall pay to plaintiff the total sum of $16,000, which shall be paid and delivered in the following manner. Payment shall be made within 14 months of February the 4th of 2010. $2,000 on or before February the 5th, 2010, and the remaining $14,000 is to be payable in 11 equal installments of $1,200 beginning April the 4th, 2010, with a final payment of $800 on or before April the 4th. The payment shall be made on or before the 4th day of each month. And that is where they were to send the payment to. And I'm assuming that that could be an escrow or a, escrow service maybe. All claims and motions filed herein against Robin and Shanann King are dismissed with prejudice. Okay? So they have no charges. Nobody went to jail. Nobody had no background history. You're not going to pull up fraud, embezzlement, or anything like that on either one of these women, because all that kind of stuff was dismissed with prejudice. However, this company and defendants are still reliable to pay this money. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't just dismissed and nothing ever done about it. But the reason you can't find any kind of backgrounds on Shanann for being involved in embezzlement, fraud, laundering is because it was dismissed on anything like that. This just went against the company to have to pay this money back to this defendant. The people were not named individually, separately. I don't know how else to describe it, but I know you know what I'm talking about. And the defendant shall pay to the mediator the sum of $1,400. Defendant shall comply with the terms of the mediation settlement entered into by the parties herein. So it was, the court shall retain jurisdiction of the matter until defendants completely satisfy the payment of $16,000. So basically what happened is, yes, they were all responsible to pay back the $16,000, but nobody was actually charged with fraud or embezzlement or anything like that individually.
That's because it was named as the company and not each person that was involved.
Yes.
Yeah, it went towards Dirty South.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's probably another reason why he kept on changing his name, because who knows, by just the way that they did that, who knows how many times it happened and, they settled out of court.
Exactly. Like you can't pull up, like I say, this Robin Worthy or Shanann or, you're just not going to pull them up and find anything on them unless you just pull up the whole company's thing as a whole, right? So thank you so much, Aura. I just saw your super chat. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. But so what do you think? What do you take of that, Nelly? I don't even know. I mean, it's obvious there's some shady stuff going on.
A lot of shady stuff going on.
And just by you reading that out, that's completely different from what was on the internet 2 years ago. Like, completely.
Yeah, it was not the same a couple years ago. Half of that stuff wasn't even listed.
No, because they more or less rounded off to, he was overcharged, and that was it.
Yeah.
But no, this is completely different. I could see why, everybody's talking laundering, but that's not laundering. Laundering is usually just to take money in and clean it up and then put it out the back door sort of deal. This here is just fraud. It's completely just fraud. So, and to be able to hide behind a company, that way you don't get in trouble too. That's something else, because how would you put it? If Hishman knew it was going on, he would let them put it behind the company. If he didn't know and it was an employee doing it, then he would see that the employee got fired and charged. Is the way I'm looking at it. So I don't know.
That's exactly what you.
But that's how I take it as.
It's pretty shady stuff. I was gonna say a bad word, but.
It appeared Kimberly got kicked out. So she's going to get back in. I actually got kicked out once too. So her
Hey, it's usually me that gets kicked out.
her internet, it was crack-a-lacking there a little while ago, and when I was talking to her at the start there, and so that's why we're gonna just do a short one today, because we didn't know how long she would last before she got booted. So, but no, we want to get into the dealings of Shanann's house in North Carolina, and of course that CPS, and CPS just wasn't a one-time deal. So,
No, it's more than once.
and when she went back to Colorado, there was a family court matter, and it was not for any fees or anything like that. It was family court, and chances are it was probably from the incident from North Carolina while they were in North Carolina. So are you going to sing us a song while we're waiting for Kimberly to come back?
No, you want people to leave? All right, Dave's gonna post it in the Facebook group. The
Groups, yeah.
PDF that you're seeing is something Kim has on her actual computer.
Yeah.
But we're gonna post it in the groups so that way y'all can have access to it. Just don't forget to redact that guy's information.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like her internet is gone. So, does anybody have any questions right now? Because a lot of this stuff here, it's completely different from what was on the internet 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, they more or less just threw it underneath the carpet, and that was it. It just, oh, we overcharged them, big deal. But to have Frank there telling somebody where to go, and and then all these different charges, it's like, this is pretty bad. It really is. So.
Catherine C. wanted to know if any bankruptcies were filed.
That's one thing. We found 3 with Frankie. That there too. It's kind of funny because they said that they didn't know they were in trouble as to Shanann and Chris. Well, that's a bunch of garbage too, because their bankruptcies pretty well coincide with each other too. So, and it's like they're doing the same thing that Shanann did, and they did it 3 times. So, but we'll be showing all that neat stuff. But Kimberly's texting me here, so I'll have to go see.
Gregory, I'm pretty sure those 5-star reviews are fake. There she is.
Oh, God. Did y'all get my text? My internet just completely crashed.
Yeah, your text just started coming through.
Oh, did they? It just now came back up, but it's really sketchy. I guess I'm just gonna, I probably need to get off here before I just crash out again. Gosh, I don't know what's going on. My whole house is quiet now. No TV, no nothing. So I need to go in there. But yeah, I just crashed out, y'all. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know what's going on. It's probably the wind and the weather again. At least we were able to get through that, and at least people were able to see that. And Dave, as soon as you can, if you can get those PDFs up on the Facebook so people can actually read through them a little bit better and maybe have time to study them. I'm sorry about that, everyone. My internet, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to have to end this before it does it again because I know it's fixing to. It's lagging. But thank you all so much. And remember, next Wednesday, we will be having the CPS. Yeah, the CPS one. Have a great night, guys. I'm so sorry, but my internet is just crashing crazy. And my lights are...
You can hear
That's okay.
going digital, so...
Okay, the lights are flickering, so I think I'm fixing to... It's going to hit me
I'm just
off.
getting a bunch of text from you now.
Oh, see, nothing's working for me.
No.
Okay, well y'all have a great night.
But thank you for
I'm so
showing
sorry.
up. And hopefully you guys learned something tonight that you didn't know from before.
I hope so.
Yeah, I did. So
Yeah, good. I hate that. hopefully everything, I'm going to get in the other side of the house because it's silent in there now because our whole house is on Wi-Fi. So,
No. Well, be
yeah.
careful, okay?
All right, hon. Thank y'all so much. And I'm sorry, everyone. But we will get back as soon as we can with this. And make sure and look for those PDFs in the Facebook page. And Dave's going to get them there
And
as
since
soon as he
it's
gets a chance.
and since it's Easter weekend, we're not going to do Skankers Ball this Saturday. It's next Saturday.
Okay, sweetheart. Sounds good.
'Cause I have to dye Easter eggs and I have to stuff
Yes.
500 plastic eggs.
I just do them in the bathtub.
Huh?
Do them in the bathtub.
Dye the Easter eggs in the bathtub?
Sure.
Sure, why not? Let's have a rainbow bathtub.
Yeah.
May as well. All right, y'all. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.